Time really does fly. After endless rumors about its release to actually having it in our hands, Switch 2's inaugural year finally draws to a close. From the madness that was the discourse around Mario Kart World, to the release of the long-awaited and almost mythical Metroid Prime 4, Switch 2 has had a crazy opening year. But how successful was it? Were the games really worth the hype? Was Switch 2 worth the wait? Well, that's the point of this video, so hold your bananas. Let's start from the beginning, shall we? And potentially the most contentious entry in the whole video, Mario Kart World. Now obviously, if we're just talking about sales numbers, there's no doubt this one is a huge hit. That's pretty much a given for any launch game, especially one that is bundled with the console. Instead, I want to focus on the general reception I've seen about the game itself, as well as my own feelings. This one is very odd, because it's gotten a lot of really mixed reactions from fans of the series and chronically online weirdos like me. Some people really dug the whole concept of karting around in this crazy open world and having a whole 24 character online room full of people raining items on each other and playing as cows. Others absolutely hated the idea of having to drive between courses and actually got mad at Nintendo for even pushing the main concept of the title. They just wanted to drive a regular 3-lap course and be done. Which, you know, after Mario Kart 8, I get it. Don't get me wrong, it's Mario Kart, so there's obviously fun to be had here. If you like the formula of Mario Kart at all, this will probably scratch that itch, assuming you haven't been knee-deep in Mario Kart 8 for like 10 years. And really, it's one of the smartest moves they could make to have it bundled with the Switch 2, because Mario Kart is a guaranteed moneymaker. It's got new characters to try, plenty of karts, new maps, pretty much everything you'd want. Now with all that being said, I thought it was fine. Not great, not groundbreaking, not awful, just perfectly fine. I know, hot take, right? But really, I don't know how else to put it. I like it, but does it beat the previous entry in its gameplay mechanics? Probably not. In a lot of ways, it almost feels like a step backward. Like they felt they had to play on some gimmick that detracts from the beautifully crafted courses they designed and force you to race in a very long stretch of road for seemingly no reason. Nintendo, why can't we just race on the tracks? I don't care about the long dirt roads and highways. And if you thought 12 players was chaos, you've never seen 24 players all throwing absolutely everything they have at you every single race. That being said, some of these tracks are pretty awesome. Boo Cinema, absolutely peak. And it has possibly the best Rainbow Road I've played on to date, plus the addition of costumes that have been long overdue since MK Tour. It's always fun to see new duds on your favorite characters. I just wish it could have focused a little less on the world and a little more on the Mario Kart. For a launch game though, it's a safe bet for the Switch 2 and it clearly paid off. But I'll probably go back to Mario Kart 8 sooner than Mario Kart World. Also, King Boo is best character, period. On to the next game. Bro, when the trailer first dropped for this game, I was immediately sold on the Switch 2. I'm not even gonna lie. I've been a 3D platformer collectathon fan since I was a lad, so Mario 64, Donkey Kong 64, Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, that's all my jam. I grew up on that. So to see a brand new 3D Donkey Kong game made by the Mario Odyssey team, one of my favorite Switch games, sign me up this instant. My only worry was, how could it possibly live up to their last project? I mean, Odyssey was such a breath of fresh air, I didn't know if it was even possible to live up to that. And then it came out, and it was literally everything I wanted. Everything I loved. And somehow, by the end, it ended up not just living up to, but surpassing Odyssey. It's honestly amazing to me that it's even possible, but these madmen did it. Bless this team and this game. Y'all are miracle workers. But I guess I should get into the specifics of why this game is so flip-flappin', banana-smackin' good. First, obviously, the gameplay. Everyone knows one of the main ideas of this game is being able to destroy almost everything in your path to the point where it looks like a nuke went off in the middle of the level by the time you're done scrounging for collectibles. I can't tell you how many times I inadvertently found a banana I wasn't even looking for because I was having so much fun absolutely wrecking everything in sight. I wish more games would let the player just go ham like this, but obviously that level of freedom is hard to make happen unless the game is meticulously designed around it. Plus, it requires quite a bit of foresight on how players will reasonably interact with such a destructible environment. It could very easily break a worse game, so you gotta give it up to the devs for making it happen. And if you somehow really screw up and destroy too much, there is a reset button that brings all the terrain back to normal so you're not stuck if you accidentally destroy a top layer. Next up is the namesake of the game itself, the Bonanzas, or as I like to call it, oh my god, what is that? Okay, so freakiness aside, this is definitely an interesting addition to the gameplay that the game offers you. Each Bonanza has its own perks, but objectively I feel like some are definitely more useful than others. I really enjoy the concept, but I almost wish a few of these had been given more utility, like the snake or the zebra. They basically only have one or two uses, and they're too infrequent to have much use compared to the others. Elephant can clear out whole chunks of a level and makes digging for stuff super easy. Ostrich lets you fly super far and get those hard-to-reach bananas. And Kong is the king of boss smashers. The other two let you run fast, jump high. Just seems like there could have been more balance there. Regardless, the addition of Pauline makes for the fun buddy duo vibe, and the new Kong villains are a great addition to the lore of Donkey Kong as a whole. Plus, that ending had me smiling ear to ear. Overall, it's my absolutely favorite Switch 2 game thus far, and this team deserves a serious break for delivering not one, but two amazing mainline Nintendo games like this. Big kudos and 10 bananas out of 10. Well, if you've seen my review impressions video, which you should totally go check out by the way, you know my feelings on this one. The internet ran this bad boy through the ringer, and I'd be hard-pressed to find more divisive title out there after such a long wait. But really, when people's expectations are so high for so long, is it even possible to please them in a way that they couldn't complain about? It seems like complaining is sort of the default when new things come out nowadays, thanks to the rise of rage bait and such. But then again, I guess that's always been the case, just before there was less opportunity to broadcast it. So really, I guess your mileage may vary on this one.
Hey! Hey, Samus Aran! Oh, stop! Help me out! Oh. Please get me down.
Personally, I thought it was a great capper to the year, and left me wanting Prime 5 like immediately. And hearing rumors that it may have been developed in tandem with Prime 4 definitely made me excited. It has everything you'd want. The different biomes, the bosses, the scanning, and the ridiculous amount of missile expansions. I mean, where does Samus even keep all that? Must be at Cribs. There were definitely some hiccups, but it's not like the other Prime games are flawless. Metroid is divisive by its nature. You either get it or you don't. Personally, I get it. Anyway, go watch my review versions. Alright folks, cards on the table. I didn't get a chance to play this one. I know, talking about a game I haven't played is ridiculous, but having played the first one a bunch as a kid, and having seen tons of gameplay for it, it felt wrong to leave the game out, especially since it's a big part of Switch 2's first year. It's almost surreal in the year of our Lord 2025 to be talking about a new Kirby Air Rider game, but here we are. I used to spend hours and hours on City Trial back in the day, so seeing Sakurai bring it all back with such enthusiasm and passion was truly something else. And by all accounts, it's just as lovely and chaotic and ridiculous as it always was, which is a plus in my book. Now I can already hear people crying, but the sales numbers aren't even that high. The game is mid. Nintendo fell off. Which, I mean, kinda sounds like a W to me. The cast is full of colorful and quirky aliens from across Kirby's main adventures to play as, and I just love seeing the attention paid to each of them, along with the many crazy looking stars you can ride on. Especially with the relatively limited cast in the first game. Plus, have you seen some of these custom rides? People are getting creative out here. A bit too creative, actually. Anyway, the maps themselves are gorgeous to look at, the soundtrack is poppin', and of course the city trials are where all the real action is, especially with the online component and the number of people running each other down for fun like it's Twisted Metal or something. Seriously, y'all need help. I will definitely be picking this one up in the new year when I have a bit more time, so please don't run me over if you see me out there. Also, did anyone get the plates on that guy? Now, some of you might call this cheating, but I call it fixing. See, when Switch 2 was first announced, they promised enhanced versions of games that a lot of us had already played. Stuff like enhanced graphics, better FPS, even new content to dig into. It was pretty appealing, given that some of the games did feel kind of limited by the Switch 1 and its capabilities at the time. So, they any good? Let's start with the Zeldas. Right off the bat, they are just beautiful. I thought they looked good on the first Switch, but now with the consistent frame rates, I could play for hours. And I have. So I guess that's a good sign. Kind of a bummer to have to pay for an upgrade, but since I already have the NSO bundle, I actually didn't end up having to pay for the upgrade at all, so that was cool. Wish they could have explained that a bit better in the announcements, but it's Nintendo. What do you expect? Plus, there's a few added goodies here if you're willing to try out the app features on your phone, too. Stuff like notes from Zelda that give you extra story bits, which I always love. They've got map features to help you hunt down some of the more elusive shrines instead of constantly Googling maps or painstakingly combing every square inch with that damn Sheikah Shrine Geiger counter. And for Tears of the Kingdom, they've even got an auto-build QR code thing that lets you upload your builds and download creations from anyone, which is pretty cool. You have no idea how many robots and tanks I've downloaded just for the thrill. Honestly, it makes the games way more replayable. Kudos to whoever thought of that. Meanwhile, Kirby got a bit more of a substantial upgrade, with the typical graphical and performance updates, along with whole new levels to explore and unlock. It's all about this crazy meteor thing that crashes into the world, and Kirby, of course, has to be the universe's janitor to put it all back together. Everyone should be glad he's such a good boy. It's the same game you come to expect, and the added levels are a nice addition, but admittedly, it was over pretty quickly. I think I ended up finishing the new content in just a few hours. I almost wish they'd thrown in a few new copy abilities or something, besides those weird mouthful mode transformations. I get that it's kind of the main gimmick, but still. Kirby, you nasty. All in all, I'd say if you don't already have the original, this one is definitely worth picking up. But for those who already own the Switch 1 copy, be warned that even with the NSO, you have to purchase the upgrade if you want the new stuff. I guess they stopped feeling generous, but I suppose it did take more work than the Zelda upgrades did. So what's final verdict on the launch year of the Switch 2? Did it live up to expectations, or did it leave us wanting? I think for me personally, it was a pretty successful year, with a few speed bumps here and there. The sales are definitely showing success, but they need to keep up their momentum moving into 2026, so I'm hoping we're about to see some real heavy hitters. Luigi's Mansion 4? New 3D Mario? Maybe even, dare I say, a new Wario World? Hey, a man can dream, can't he? I think the main takeaway is that the Switch 2 is continuing what the Switch 1 did, only better. And really, that's all I wanted. As long as good games keep flowing, I say we're on the right track. I just hope things don't fly off the rail with more bizarre business decisions and price hikes. Lord knows my wallet can only handle so much punishment. If you're still on the fence about grabbing a Switch 2, I'd say there's plenty to sink your teeth into by now, especially with the third-party and indie games. That'd at least be worth a look. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Caleb, and I'll see y'all in the future.